Ah, Anatolia, land of mountains, fertile plains, and, wouldn't you know it, the Hittites. They emerged around 1600 BCE, blending with the indigenous populations and saying, right, let's build an empire. And build they did, with their capital at Hattusa. The Hittites were organized, ambitious, and had a penchant for cuneiform writing. Now, you can't talk about the Hittites without mentioning their language. It's Indo-European, like English or Hindi, but with a twist. Imagine trying to decipher ancient texts that look vaguely familiar but sound like someone gargling with gravel. But hey, at least they wrote things down. It's a tale of ambition, warfare, and, dare I say, a touch of bureaucratic brilliance. Every good empire needs a good king, or two, or in the Hittites' case, a whole dynasty's worth. First up, we have Hattusili I, a fellow who clearly believed in making a strong first impression. He marched his armies south, conquering cities and expanding the Hittite realm with gusto. After Hattusili, things got a bit, shall we say, complicated. But fear not, for from this chaos emerged a new line of rulers, the most famous of whom was Suppiluliuma I. He ascended to the throne amidst a period of weakness and rebellion, only to crush his enemies, consolidate his power, and expand the Hittite Empire to its greatest extent. Suppiluliuma I, ladies and gentlemen, was the epitome of a go-big or go-home ruler. His reign marked the zenith of Hittite power, a golden age of military expansion and diplomatic maneuvering. What's an empire without a few good enemies? The Hittites certainly had their share. To the south lay Egypt, ruled by the pharaohs and boasting more pyramids than you could shake a stick at. Naturally, these two heavyweights eventually came to blows. There were skirmishes, raids and proxy wars fought over control of valuable trade routes and resources. But the Egyptians weren't the only ones causing a ruckus. The Hittites also had to contend with the Mitanni, the Assyrians, and a whole host of other kingdoms and tribes with their own agendas. They were skilled warriors, masters of the chariot, and possessed a military machine that was as impressive as it was fearsome. Section 4, Kadesh, history's most confusing draw. And now, for the main event, the Battle of Kadesh, a clash of titans that would go down in history as, well, a bit of a draw, actually. Picture the scene, 1274 BCE, the plains of Kadesh in modern-day Syria. The forces of Rameses II of Egypt and Muwatalli II of the Hittites are about to collide in a battle for the ages. Muwatalli, on the other hand, opted for a more cunning approach, concealing his forces and preparing a surprise attack. The Hittites, with their superior chariot forces, caught the Egyptians off guard, sending them reeling in disarray. Rameses rallied his troops, launched a counterattack, and managed to salvage a stalemate from the jaws of defeat. Both sides claimed victory, carved boastful inscriptions on temple walls, and went home to lick their wounds. Section 5, Iron, Law and a Dash of Culture. Now, the Hittites weren't just about conquest and chariot charges. They were early adopters of iron. Forget your fancy bronze, iron was the future, stronger weapons, better tools, and a definite edge in any blacksmithing competition. The Hittites were pioneers in ironworking, and their metallurgical skills were renowned throughout the ancient world. But it wasn't all about brute force. The Hittites also had a sophisticated legal system, with a focus on restorative justice rather than harsh punishments. Their laws covered everything from theft and murder to land disputes and family matters, and were surprisingly progressive for their time. Section 6. The sun sets on an empire. All good things, as they say, must come to an end. And so it was with the Hittite Empire. Around 1200 BCE, disaster struck. A perfect storm of internal strife, economic woes, and invasions by mysterious sea peoples spelled doom for the once mighty Hittites. The Hittite heartland was overrun, their cities sacked, and their empire fragmented into a patchwork of smaller Neo-Hittite kingdoms. The Hittites, once a dominant force in the ancient world, had met their end.